Good morning and welcome to Real Talk. I'm Claudia with Claudia's Door Decor, and today we are talking about something that plagues all of us. It doesn't matter how long you have been a crafter, how long you've been putting yourself out here on social media. Imposter syndrome is real at every level. But confidence and building confidence can combat that pretty well. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the things that we struggle with, the areas that we don't feel confident in, and that imposter syndrome does creep in, because I know I'm not the only one. I know that it happens to each and every person. And here's the thing. The people and the situations that you put yourself in, the things you listen to, the conversations that you're a part of, all play into this in a big way. So all of these areas are very important that we watch out, we take care of ourselves, we protect ourselves in, so that when we are having a bad moment, a bad day, a bad situation, we can talk ourselves back into a positive mindset. So that's what we're talking about today. All right. So I have a question, because I know that we've all felt this way. Have you ever felt like you didn't belong somewhere you worked hard to get into? Did you ever feel you didn't belong somewhere? You worked so hard to get in to either a school or an organization or something that you felt maybe I don't belong here. Maybe this is way over my head. Maybe I don't fit in here. Have you ever felt that way? Has that ever happened to you? Because I know it's happened to everybody. I know at some point, either it was a job that you had worked so hard to prepare for, that you got all the skills and all the training that you needed to get said job, and then when you got it, you wanted to pinch yourself. Sorry, I have postnasal because of the weather. But have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt like maybe I don't belong here? Maybe this isn't where I fit in. I know you have, because we've all felt that. And that's the thing, is that that's normal. That's especially if it's something that you wanted so badly, and you worked so hard for. Here's another question. Have you ever doubted yourself, even when others believed in you? Even when others believed in you, even when you had all the encouragement that you needed, even when you had that support and people pushing you to get to, where you're trying to go, where you're trying to be. Have you felt like, still, I don't feel like I belong here, and I doubt myself, even though I have the support? Have you ever felt that way? Do you struggle more with confidence or self-doubt? That's another one. Where is your struggle? Is it with confidence or is it with self-doubt? Do you question yourself? Do you constantly question yourself? Confidence and imposter syndrome can exist in the same person. You can have confidence and have imposter syndrome. You can have confidence and not feel like you fit in or you belong. You can have confidence and still question. You can still have that feeling, those feelings. And confidence is not arrogance. When you see somebody who is confident in who they are, confident in the way that they show up, confident in the things that they say and the beliefs that they have, believe that they've worked hard to get there, that it took them a lot of self-work. They've had to do a lot of self-analyzing, self-growth, pushing themselves. Confidence doesn't just happen. Confidence is worked on. Confidence is built through struggle, through strife, through grit. So understand that it's not arrogance. If you see somebody who's so confident in who they are, they've worked for that. They've built that. And confidence is knowing who you are. Building that confidence, knowing yourself so well that no matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody does, what they say about you or who they believe you are is not on you. You know yourself well enough. You know what you offer to the world. You know how you show up for people. You know who you are, and nothing anybody says is going to change that. So don't let it. Let them say what they want to say. Their belief comes from where they are, not who you are. Let me say that again. Their belief in you is not who you are. Okay? It's a reflection of how they feel about themselves and how you make them feel. But it's not on you. It's not on you to make everybody around you comfortable. It's not on you to do that. It's not your responsibility to make everybody around you comfortable. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope this is landing for somebody. Imposter syndrome typically comes from questioning the gifts that you already have. You'll hear me say a lot, lean into the areas that you are gifted in. That is where you're going to shine. That is where you're going to be consistent. That's where you're going to show up consistently. Not trying to be like so-and-so, not trying to live up to so-and-so. You have to show up exactly where you are gifted and where you can be consistent. Authenticity comes through. Authenticity comes through time and time again, and people are watching and listening. And what you say matters. What the words that you say matter. Words are powerful. Words are so very powerful. So what you say matters. So if you're saying that you're going to do something and then you don't follow through, whose fault is that? I mean, first of all, you're letting yourself down. Okay, you're letting yourself down. When you say you're not going to do something, or you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, you're letting yourself down. You know, and it doesn't look good on you when you consistently do that. Don't do or say things to please people. Don't say or do things to please people, especially with the follow through. It is so hard to please a group of people. Why are you trying? Why are you trying to please a group of people? They're not paying your bills. They're not paying your bills. They're not living your life. So why are you putting your efforts into pleasing a group of people? It's not going to work. Not only is it going to work, but it's going to slap you in the face. And I don't know about you, but I'm not one that likes to be slapped in the face. You know, it's hard. It's hard, and I get it. But people pleasing is not a gift. People pleasing is, I heard this said, and it kind of made me take a step back, because at first I was like, I get it, but at the same time, people pleasing is a manipulation. Think about that for a minute. Oh my gosh, I guess I just got a live restricted for some audiences. Okay. Violent behaviors. I'm not behaving violently. But anyway, I'm trying to talk to a community of people that need to hear things so that they can do better and be better. That was the first time I got violated, TikTok. But that's okay. We're moving on. What situations make you question yourself? What situations make you think to yourself, maybe I'm not doing or being a certain way or thing. Maybe I need to do different and be different. You know, those are questions that you need to ask yourself in order to understand where your imposter syndrome is coming from. Because if you can see that for what it is, and you can do something about that for what it is, then you can grow from that and you can change that for yourself. You don't have to continue down that route or down that way. You know, it's, what do they say? It's like drinking poison, hoping somebody else doesn't exist. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. All right. So let's talk about confidence. Okay. Confidence means that you do things even when they're hard. You do things even when it feels like you're going to be sick. It means those butterflies in your stomach, those nerves that you have. Showing up when you're nervous, showing up for yourself, putting yourself out there over and over again, regardless of what they say, what they do, who's they, right? Who's they? I love when when they say, whatever, fill in the blank, right? Who's they? They say, we hear that a lot, right? Or I've heard it said, you know, but who's they? And why are we living into they? You know, showing up even when you're nervous. Why are you nervous? You're nervous because you care. That's why you're nervous. You're nervous because you care, because you want to be successful, because you want things to turn out for you the way that they need to turn out for you. I'm a small business owner, and I'm speaking to other small business owners. If you have an online business, that is where your business lives, and you're not putting yourself out there, how are people going to find you? How are people going to know what you offer? How are people going to know, hey, this is Claudia of Claudia's Door Decor, and I didn't know she made blankety blank blank. How are they going to know if you don't put yourself out there? How are they going to know you if you're not showing up for you and your business? That comes from being confident, even when you're nervous, especially when you're nervous, because you care, And I cannot reiterate this enough. Show up as you. Show up exactly as you are. Be authentic. People can see through it. People can see when you're not authentic. People can see when you're not real, when you're doing things for show, when you're doing things that aren't consistent, showing up in a way that looks like other people. Put your blinders on. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. They're not you. They're going to keep showing up consistently the way that they show up because that's them. But you can't do that. You cannot rinse and repeat. You can't. It's impossible, and it's impossible to keep up. That's why you burn out. When you consistently try showing up like somebody else that you admire, it's not going to work for you. That's not where your giftedness is. You're gifted in other ways. You're gifted differently. Show up in the way that you are gifted, and the right people will follow you. The right people will show up for you. The right people will support you. Okay? And please learn from your mistakes. A mistake doesn't mean you failed. A mistake is an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to take a moment and say, hey, this didn't work, but the idea wasn't bad. It wasn't the idea that was bad. It was the execution of the idea. So try it a different way. Rinse and repeat. Try it some other way. It didn't work one way, try it a different way. But don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. You're building something. I don't know if you've heard this, but you were made on purpose with a purpose. That is how you were created. That's undeniable. That's yours. Nobody can take that from you. You were made on purpose with a purpose. Just figure out what that purpose is. Are you a cheerleader? Are you a person that can speak truth and love to people? Are you a person that can show up and be supportive and it not drain you? I mean, there's ways that you can show up for yourself and for others that is authentic to you, and that's what you need to do. There's a little... People are still in here, so I'm assuming it's okay. The little restriction box, I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand. I'm talking about some hard stuff. It's good. Okay. Here's what confidence is not. Okay. And this is where you get that ick feeling, right? You get that ick feeling. Bragging. Confidence is not bragging. Okay. It's not arrogance and it's not perfection. That is not what confidence is. Okay. You don't have to be perfect. Give yourself permission to not be perfect. That is not your assignment. Your assignment is not perfection. Your assignment is to be exactly who you were meant to be, exactly who you are. That is your assignment. Now, if you aren't a kind person, if you are not a thoughtful person, if you are not the type of person that you would befriend, then that's work you need to do. That's work you need to do, but it doesn't make you any less than anybody else. But perfection is hard. Okay, perfection is hard and impossible to do. It's not possible to be perfect. So don't make an effort towards perfection. If you make an effort towards better than you were last year, better than you were 3 years ago, like you see improvement, you see growth, that is what confidence is doing things that build you up in a way that you can continuously show up for yourself and for your business. Okay. My first live, the very first time that I hit that button to go live, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if anybody was going to show up and watch. I didn't know. So yeah, I was scared. I was scared to show up. I was scared to hit that button. And I started that whole comparison thing. I'm not as fast as this person is. I don't design quickly. I am one of those meticulous people that needs to take their time. Not because being fast is a bad thing, because kudos to those that can create quickly, but that was a skill that was built over time. They were able to build that skill over time, yet I compared myself because I didn't want to disappoint anybody. But at the same time, who was I truly disappointing? I was disappointing me. I wasn't being authentic or true to myself. How's that right? How's that fair? Criticizing myself for hitting a button to do something brave? Doing the hard stuff is brave. It takes courage. Okay? So let me tell you something. The first time, because of the unknowns of who's going to be there, who's going to show up, are they going to be nice to you? Are there going to be trolls in your comments? Are there going to be people heckling you? Probably, but it's not in what they do that matters. It's in what you do and how you react. So what? So what if they say blankety blank? So what if they don't cheer you on? If they don't celebrate you? So what? That is not a definition of your value. What others do, that's on them. It doesn't define if you're valuable or not. Do you hear me when I tell you that? Your value is not in what others think or feel about you. And I hope that you hear that loud and clear and understand that pushing that button, if nobody shows up, you still hit that live button. You still did it. You still went live. That matters so much more than what anybody else did or didn't do, because you did something hard for you, for yourself, to move forward in what you're trying to accomplish. That matters. When my first wreath sold, the very first wreath that I had to pack in a box, pack it up the best way that I could, put it in a box, and trust that it was going to get from my hands to that customer in one piece, and that they would like it. Talk about nervous. Talk about not having confidence. Talk about imposter syndrome. Oh my word, who am I to be trusted to make something for somebody's home and for them to pay me for it? That is all part of what we're talking about today, is how that feels, and trusting that you can do what's hard. You just have to get past that fear and push through to the other side. Okay? Well, how do you do that if you don't know where to start? If you don't know what that's going to look like? If you don't know how? Where do you start? Well, you start by having a community of people who are doing the things that you want to do. That's how it starts. If you have people that you're watching that are constantly talking about the negative side of things, the difficult side of things, and they're never sharing about the positive side of things, the breakthroughs, the confidence that finally they got so that they could do the hard stuff. If you're constantly listening to that negative narrative, then no wonder you don't want to do what's hard, because that's all you're listening to. You're listening to a negative narrative. Please surround yourself with people and listen to people that are doing what you want to do, because you can do it too. There's enough room for everyone. Everyone. If you found crafting to be therapeutic for you, that you found joy in making beautiful items, something that you created with your hands, and you found joy in that, but there's only so much you can make because now you're giving stuff away because your house cannot hold that many items, then the next logical step is for you to put yourself out there and sell what you make. And let me tell you, there is no greater joy. There's no greater joy than people looking at you going, can you make me one? Can you make me something for my house? There's no greater joy. So why wouldn't you want that for yourself? Okay? And stop thinking that anything is oversaturated. Don't tell yourself that. Don't believe those that are saying that. If your algorithm is set to show you things that you're interested in, for example, you're looking up other wreath makers, you're seeing what they're creating, you're getting inspiration, then yes, your algorithm is going to show you wreath makers, people that are putting themselves out here on these platforms, trying to do the same thing you're doing. But it doesn't mean that it's oversaturated. It's just what your algorithm is focused on. So don't listen to those that have said it's saturated. It's just what you're focused on right now. There are billions of doors across the world. And let's not get started on interiors, walls. People make collage walls in their homes that a wreath would look beautiful on, over mantles, fireplaces, all types of places you can put wreaths, right? By their pool for the summertime, you know? There are several places that people like to decorate that you can make decorations for. So don't think that it's oversaturated, because that is not true. Here's a question for you. When do you feel the most confident? Personally, ask yourself that. When do you feel the most confident? Is it when you get your hair done? Is it when you have your makeup on just right? Is it when somebody tells you that you're beautiful? When is it that you feel the most confident? And why do we rely on what other people think to make us feel confident? I put makeup on today. Typically, you will find me wearing no makeup. Not because I don't care about myself, because I do. But makeup isn't the only way that I feel confident. Makeup is actually dressing up how I already feel about myself. I'm confident in who I am and who I was made to be. It took me time to learn how to be confident in myself and to show up for myself in a way that I can continuously show up for myself no matter what others think about me. Because the truth be told, others don't think about us as much as we think they do. They really don't. They don't think about us the way that we think they do. They don't think about us at all half the time. But I don't wear makeup for anybody but myself. So I wore makeup today just to give you an example. So, and my husband even says to me, honey, thank you for being a woman that's confident even when you don't wear makeup, because you're beautiful either way. So, but I didn't need that. Like that wasn't necessary for me. I didn't need him to say that, but it was kind of him to say, because I don't want to have to wear makeup to feel a certain way about myself or feel good about myself. I don't want to have to do anything other than just exist to feel a certain way about myself. You know, you matter. You are beautifully and wonderfully made no matter what. But you have to think about, like, what makes me feel confident? What makes me feel confident? Is it other people telling me that I'm certain, like I'm valuable? Is it, if that's the case, I promise you, if you take that factor away and figure out how to show up and how to be confident in yourself without that, you will do things and be things and show up in ways for yourself that you never imagined. You have to take the factors, the outside factors, the things that are not in your control. Take those off the plate. Take those off the plate. Don't give anybody that much power. Anybody that much power. Because guess what? Then you're like a puppet. You react and act based on how others feel about you. You know how I know? Because I've been there. Because I've been there. I used to have this desire to be liked, for people to want to be around me, for people to want to spend time with me. That was giving a situation that was out of my control too much power. That can't be the driving factor for why I do things or why I show up the way that I do. Okay, that can't be why I do the things that I do. It's manipulation. People pleasing is manipulation. You act and do a certain thing to get what you're looking for. Don't do that. Don't do that. If it's not authentically how you are, don't do that to show up and please others. Okay? Because it's a lonely place to be. Let me tell you, people will walk away from you and drop you like that. Okay? Because here you were working for the relationship or working to try to do something and it didn't work. It didn't work. Doors were slammed in your face. People walked away and you're sitting here going, what did I do? Well, let me tell you what you were doing. You weren't being authentic to yourself. You weren't showing up genuinely for yourself. That's lack of confidence. That's lack of confidence. That's trying to do something and be something that you're not. So don't do that. Don't do that. You are just as valuable, just as important, just the way you are. Okay? So you don't always say the right thing. Okay? So you don't always do the right thing. Okay? What's the right thing anyway? What does that even mean? What's the right thing? What's the right thing? How's the right way to show up? There's no definition. And if you don't have people in your life that share their expectations, that will say to you, hey, we're going to be friends now. This is my expectation. This is my expectation. Let's meet each other, halfway. Because there has to be a conversation. How are you showing up for one another? One person can't always be the giver and one person can't always be the taker. That's not balanced. That's not balanced. And this all came from what gives you confidence, okay? Confidence grows through keeping promises to yourself. That means when you say you're going to do something, you do it. When you tell yourself that you want to change something, you do things to work towards that change. You don't just make a promise to yourself and then negate it because, it's only hurting you. Because how are you going to trust yourself? How are you going to build that confidence? All right. So keeping promises to yourself. Confidence grows through repetition. In order to build or change a habit, you have to continuously do it to build it. That means there's going to be trial and error. There's going to be wins and there's going to be failures. But the more you do something, the more things change. It could be a mindset. It could be a skill. Repetition builds confidence in building your skills because the more you do it, the better you get. For me, bow making, making a bow for my designs, I promise you, I never thought I'd see the day where I said, "Ooh, I made a bow that I like." Because it didn't happen right away. It took nearly a year. And I have to use the bow maker. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with using a tool to learn a skill. Okay? There's nothing wrong with it. Now, I know there are people that can make a bow in their hand, and kudos. Absolutely kudos to you. I'm working on it. I'm learning. Okay? But I don't know how long it will take me, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm just going to keep repeating it and building my confidence. That's all you can do. All you can do is keep trying, right? Confidence grows through learning from your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. Grow from your mistakes. Pivot in your mistakes. Don't hide. Don't hide from your mistakes. There is so much community that can be built when you're sharing your struggles, because other people have them too. Other people struggle the same way. So there's nothing more valuable than sharing your struggle. Because let me tell you something. I don't know anybody that was birthed and started designing. It was skills that they learned. It was the environment that they were in. It's the areas that they learned. I mean, think about how women used to learn simple skills. Cooking. I'm not going to say it's simple because there's people that can't, but cooking, sewing, providing for a family, being a homemaker. There were skills that were passed on generation to generation. Okay, so everybody had to learn from who's gone before them. So why would you think that you're going to try something and it's just going to be perfect the first time, or you're going to do it the first time? That's not how it works. Have you ever had a recipe that you made and every single time you made it, it was good, but yet you shared that recipe with somebody else and it didn't taste the same? Has anybody ever done that? Think about it. It's not the recipe that's the problem. And it's not that it's a problem. It's the skills. It's the additional stuff that you do that's different than what somebody else does. And that's true across the board with everything. And if you're not good at something, the only thing that you have to do to get better at that is to keep doing it, to learn through your mistakes. Maybe you wanted to do it different. Maybe there's just something that you think might work better for you. Try it. It could be a success, but it could also be a flop, and that's okay. It's giving yourself permission to work through those things, to work through that stuff, okay? Here's another thing. Confidence grows through small wins, okay? Small wins, which means finishing things that you start. How many of you have started something? You were strong when you started it. Life happens, right? Schedules change. Things get in the way. ups and downs, things get in the way. So that item, that thing, that goal, whatever it is, it wasn't a priority during that time. So finishing things that you start, yes. Yes, Wendy. Repeat successful events. Exactly. But finishing what you start is so important. So important to finish what you start. Finish those projects. Learn those skills. Show up consistently. Guys, let me tell you, it is so hard to keep showing up for whatever, fill in the blank. Keep showing up when you're not seeing any reward, when you're not getting that dopamine hit, the I did it, the this worked, this whatever it is. It is so hard to try again, to do it again, to start over. But it's necessary. It's necessary to continue to build, to continue to gain that confidence, to continue to do and finish the things that you start. It's important. It matters. So think about the things in the areas that you're in, the things, the reasons why your confidence isn't where it should be. And I bet you anything, a lot of these things are the reasons why. But you need to show up for yourself. You need to show up for yourself, and you need to learn confidence. You need to see the areas that are your trigger areas that are causing you to not be confident. And sometimes it's other people. Sometimes it's things that people say. Sometimes it's you see things that you weren't meant to see, or hear things you weren't meant to hear. And if that person knew that you would see them or hear them, they may have not said them. But that shouldn't be why your confidence isn't up here. Your confidence should be up here all the time. Now, mind you, there's going to be times where you need to check. You need to check yourself. What are you giving attention to? What's that negative voice that you're giving attention to? Don't do it. Don't do it. You need to treat yourself like you would your very best friend, your own children. Would you let the people that you love, would you let them speak to themselves the way that the voice speaks to you? So don't let it happen to you. Don't let those negative things consume you, because it does make you show up differently. It doesn't help you show up in your best self. It doesn't help you be consistent with the way that you need to show up for you and your business. Okay. Environment matters. So supportive people encourage. They celebrate your progress, and they help you grow. So let's talk about this. There are people who believe in fake it till you make it type of things, or they only support because that's what they're supposed to do. That's what I'm supposed to do, but they don't really support. Like, they don't really feel that you're doing good things, because it makes them look at themselves as, I'm not doing what you're doing, so therefore I can't support you, because you remind me of all the things I'm not. You remind me of all the things I'm not doing. That's not real support. I'm talking about the people that encourage you, that really encourage you, that see you when you're not showing up in your best self, that see you and check in on you and love on you through whatever it is that you're going on. to help you get over that hump, to get you to the other side, that truly encourage you and uplift you, and they don't think the worst of you. And they don't some people relish in somebody's failure. Some people enjoy that somebody isn't all that type of thing. That's awful. That's awful. And that's a self-check. You know, not everybody is going to show up the way that you do for you. I get that, because not everybody is gifted in that. But surround yourself with people that encourage you. They don't gossip about others to you, so that you can trust that they're not gossiping about you to others. That is the foundation of a good support system. They're not talking about others to you. They're talking about themselves or focusing on you. That matters, okay? They celebrate your progress. Truly celebrate your progress. They dance with you. They jump up and down with you because they know what it took for you to get there. And there's no denying that. Like, some people, I promise you, will say they're happy for you, but they're not. They're not. Let me tell you something. What we do, what we put ourselves out there to do and continuously do over and over and over again, it's not easy. It's not easy to put yourself out there for the judgment of others. You just can't care about what others think. You just can't care about it. Listen, you're not doing what I'm doing, therefore you don't get to tell me how to do it differently or how to do it right. You don't get to tell me that. And what works for you doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for me. And that's what we've got to remember as well. What works for one does not work for everybody. Because if it was easy, and you'll hear other people say this too, everybody would do it. Everybody would be doing it. It's not easy. It's not easy. But it's also not supposed to be lonely out here either. The people that truly encourage you help you grow. They actually help you grow. I had somebody tell me that I didn't have to learn anymore, that I needed to not be learning anymore. What? I am a student of my craft, and I hope to always be a student of my craft, because there's so many different things that I could be doing within my craft that will benefit and grow me. So realize that when people say stuff to you, you don't have to pick it up. You don't have to pick it up. You can leave it right there. You can leave it right where it needs to be. You should always be growing. You should always be learning. You should always be trying different things. Sometimes it takes trying over and over again to get to where it works for you, where you can be consistent in however you need to show up for your business. It's going to work for you. That's important. Very important that you figure out how this is going to work for you, because if you're trying to show up like that person shows up for their business, friend, you're going to fail. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that to be honest. You have to figure out for you what's going to work for you, what makes sense for you, how you can be consistent in showing up that way. That builds confidence. Okay? So what you think matters, how you grow matters, small wins matter, and the environment you're in matters. Think about who in your life encourages you the most. Think about who in your life encourages you the most. Let's go into comparison, because that can rear its ugly head, okay? Because when we see what others are doing, when we're looking around us to see who's out there doing what we're trying to do, there's a lot of comparison that happens even if we don't mean it to, right? So we look at people's follower account. Can I tell you how big of a liar that is? Can I tell you why? If you look at how many people are following somebody, I want you to go look at the engagement. The engagement on their posts, the engagement on their stuff. You're not gonna. It doesn't equal out. It doesn't equal out. Think about, would you rather have thousands of followers that don't engage, or a smaller amount of followers that engage consistently, that are always showing up for you, that are always sharing you out, that are always uplifting you? Think about that. Because if you look at any of the people who have thousands of followers, the engagement on the stuff that they're putting out there does not match. It just doesn't. Okay, so don't compare yourself or your followers or who's following you, comparing it to somebody else. Don't compare. Okay, you work on who's following you. You work on who's engaging with you. You focus on your followers. How are you showing up for the people that support you? How are you showing up for them? Why do they support you? Do they support you because they feel good every time they walk away from spending time with you? Do they feel good? Are they inspired? Are they ready to go conquer the world? Because you know what? It's hard out here. It's hard out here. That matters. So if you show up where you're gifted, if you show up with your authenticity, if you show up as yourself, the right people will show up for you. Okay? So show up for your community in your most authentic self. And the ones that do follow you and do click the like button and do share you out and all of those things, those are the people you're showing up for. That's the community you want to build. Okay? Engagement matters, which means, how are you engaging with your community? Are you showing up for them? Are you supporting their efforts? Are you applauding for them? Are you a cheerleader for them? Or is this a one-way relationship? Are you showing up the way that you want people to show up for you? Is it one-sided? Are you the only one showing up for others and they're not showing up for you? All of these things are things you need to ask yourself. You know? 100 supporters are greater than 10,000 silent followers. I'm going to say it again. 100 supporters are far greater than 10,000 silent followers. You want people that want to see you succeed. You want people that want you to show up, because I'm sorry, if you're showing up consistently, if you're always putting yourself out there and all you hear is crickets all the time, what's the likelihood that you're going to keep showing up that way? What's the likelihood that you're going to keep putting yourself out there? Slim to none. But you will build something if you're showing up authentically, because there are people that will look for you, that will care about your success. There are people that will do that for you. Would you rather have 10,000 silent followers or 100 real supporters? You do the math. What's going to be worth more to you? But showing up authentically, that matters. All right. Your skills, they grow with practice. Okay? Whatever that skill is, doesn't matter what it is. Your skills grow with practice. Nobody starts as an expert. Nobody starts as an expert. Improvement comes from repetition. If you've ever looked at the very first item that you made with your hands, for me, it was a wreath. So look at the first wreath that you made and then look at something that you made now. What skill have you gotten better at over time? For me, it's overthinking. I was overthinking everything all the time. If I just allow myself to create without questioning every little thing, typically I like what happens. I like what turns out. I can get in my own way, but I had to figure that out for myself. And that's not true for everybody. But I had to figure that out for myself. What's stopping you from growing these skills? What skill has gotten better for you over time? These are all things that build that confidence. Another area that we compare, and God bless every single one of us, is income. What other people are able to make doing what we do. You know, we're comparing their design to our design, their sale to our sale. That comparison steals your joy. That comparison takes everything away from the effort that you're putting into it. A lot of designers that are able to charge those higher prices is based on their skills and the items that they're using. If they're using luxury items in their designs, if that's their comfort, if they're putting a plethora of items into a design, they're going to be able to charge more. Once you figure out a formula that works for you, okay, a formula regardless of what you use or how you do it, once you figure out a formula and you're not losing money in your efforts, then you're figuring it out for yourself. You're figuring it out for yourself. Now, if you're going to do this as a hobby, then that matters less. You're happy with just getting out of it what you put into it. And I get that. There are people that makes them happy. But other people are trying to provide for their families. They're trying to make this a meaningful income for their families. And that, in and of itself, makes it different for you and for them. It makes it different for you and for them. So they're going to figure out a formula and they're going to get items that they're going to put into a design that's going to sell that item. So don't compare your stuff to their stuff and think that it's equal. Okay? Don't do that to yourself because that diminishes your confidence. Experience levels, time invested, different business models. There are people that have access to getting florals at the bottom dollar, wholesale price. It's not the person that is the in-between person, the person that you buy supplies from. They're getting it from the supplier. Okay? So they can offer their items, the exact same item, for significantly less because they paid less. Does that make sense? So don't compare apples to oranges. Okay, don't compare. Don't tell yourself that you need to keep your price down to match their price, because that means that you're not going to be making anything. That means that you're not making a profit whatsoever. You might as well give away your stuff. And that's not sustainable. That's not sustainable. And that kills confidence as well. Okay, and we're combating imposter syndrome all the time. All the time. Our confidence needs to be built so that imposter syndrome stays at bay. Okay? When somebody else is successful in doing this, when somebody else is providing for their family, they're making it a sustainable income, they were able to leave corporate America, and this is basically replace that income. What does that mean? That means if they can do it, you can do it too. That means if they can do it, you have the possibility of doing that as well. But it takes time. It takes effort. It takes learning from your mistakes. It takes putting yourself out there over and over and over again. And it takes listening to the right people, that guidance, the right guidance. Okay? The right guidance, the right people supporting you. That's what it takes. And honestly, if you don't have the right people supporting you, you need to support yourself. Always, you need to support yourself. You're the foundation. You're building this foundation. You are the face of your business. So your face needs to get out here. Your face needs to be out here, your brand. You are your brand. You need to put yourself out here. You need to let people know who they're supporting, why they would support you. Some people support you just simply because they like you. They like you. They like that you show up out here. They like that they can watch you. They like that. Okay? Do you feel inspired or discouraged when you see someone's success? Only you can answer that for yourself. But for me, if I see somebody doing exactly the same thing that I'm doing and they're being successful at it, I know it's possible. I know it's possible. And I don't do the woe is me thing. Well, why hasn't this happened for me yet? Well, why hasn't blankety blank blank? My time is coming. My time is coming, and I know it is. But I need to stop looking at what other people are doing and stop looking at who's done what and where people are. I need to focus on what Claudia is doing. I need to focus on how Claudia can show up authentically as herself. That's what I need to focus on. I don't need to focus on anybody else, ever. Just me. Because at the end of the day, if something happens with my business, for my business, at my business, it's on me anyway. So why do the outside factors that I have no control over, why does that matter? It doesn't. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I show up consistently, that I continue to grow my skills. That's what matters. And you can do the same. You can do the same for yourself. If imposter syndrome is something that really kicks your butt on a regular basis, you need to start taking those pieces of that puzzle and deconstructing it to see where that's coming from. Where is that coming from? What truth are you believing that is keeping you stuck in that? Take apart that puzzle. Take apart that puzzle. Figure out the symptom of that imposter syndrome and remove it. Nip it in the butt. Call it a liar, because that's what it is. Because you belong. You work hard. You belong. You have a voice. Just show up. Show up for yourself. Show up in your most authentic way. If you're a goofball, be a goofball and be okay with it. I think when I first started, I love Lucy. Remember that show, Black and White? Ricky Ricardo. She was married to Ricky Ricardo. I felt like I like Lucy half the time. Like when she was working in the chocolate factory trying to keep up with all the chocolate that was coming and she was supposed to rap. Because I was trying to keep up with everybody. That literally felt like I was drowning because that's not me. So why was I trying to show up in a way that wasn't authentic to me? Why was I trying to be or do something that wasn't authentic to me? It doesn't help. It doesn't help. That's why I keep saying over and over and over again, you need to figure out who you are. You need to figure out how you can authentically show up, and the right people will support you for that. The right people will show up for that because you're authentic to yourself. Okay. Recognition. Okay. So part of being your brand, part of you being the face of your business, you need to show up. You need to show up. You need to be visible. You need to be consistent, and you need to build trust. And how do you do that? Well, you show up. You show up for the community. You show up for yourself. You show up for your business. That means you put yourself out here. You put yourself out here. You invite people into your circle. You invite people to join you. You invite people to be themselves, be comfortable in who they are, grow their business the way that they need to. I got a puzzle piece. 1 second. It's funny how a puzzle piece showed up when I was just telling everybody to deconstruct their puzzle so that they can show up the way that they need to show up, right? Everybody has different experience levels. And what one person has experienced when they share that with you, their experience can inspire you. How they built their business can inspire you. What they did to get where they're at can inspire you. That's why oftentimes you'll see me ask other creators in this community to join me to talk about how they started, to talk about, what was hard for them, what was easy for them, what they ran into, because here's the thing. It didn't happen overnight. Nobody built their business overnight. It didn't happen that way. When somebody goes viral with something and you celebrate their viralness, that's fantastic. That's fantastic because that puts you out more to an audience that maybe otherwise they wouldn't see you. But don't tell yourself that can't happen for you. Don't believe that if you're putting yourself out there that can't happen for you, because it can. Not only can it happen for you, but being consistent can build that for you. But you have to show up. Other people have spent different time investments based on whatever their schedule allows. A lot of people started out having a full-time job and building this on the side. That's different than somebody that can put 100% of their focus on building their business. Does it make it any better? No, it just makes it different. And that matters. That matters. You have to know that what you're building matters no matter how much time, effort, or whatever you're putting into it. But if you're ignoring it and you're wondering why you haven't made it yet, that's why. Your return comes from how much you're putting into what you're building. Think of it like a house. If you lay the foundation, like that's all you got going right now, is the concrete slab is down. There's no walls. The plumbing is barely finished. There's no wiring, no internet, no nothing. That foundation is going to stay the same. It's not going to grow automatically. It's not going to build itself. That's not how things work. So when you turn around and start focusing on it again, and all of a sudden you start building the walls, and you start building the rooms, and you start getting the plumbing plumbed in, and you start picking out all the things that you want this house to look like, that's when you'll start seeing the foundation. Then you can live in it. You can live in that growth. But until you build it, it's going to sit the exact same way that you left it. So build, build, build. And again, somebody else's success just means it's possible. There are people that are making 7 digits and more doing this. Hear me when I tell you, there are people that are very successful in what they're doing. And they heard things like, how is it that you're playing with ribbon all day or flowers and you're making what? It's a business. And if you're feeding the business will grow. So understand that nobody else has to get it. Nobody else has to get it. And you belong. You belong here. The only person that can tell you you don't belong is you. That's it. Everyone has gifts. Everyone has their giftedness. You need to lean into that. You need to lean into the areas that you are gifted. Creativity, teaching, encouraging, even organizing. You are gifted. You just have to figure out what areas you are gifted in and lean into those. That's what's going to help you grow. Whether it be in this business, whether it be in another business, the more you lean into where you're gifted, you will grow. And here's the other thing. And this gets me every time. There are a lot of people that follow along with whatever somebody else thinks or feels about certain people. They're followers. They're not leaders. They're followers. Different than people following you on social platforms. But they feel that if that person doesn't like somebody, then I can't like them either, because then I'll be excluded from this group. Guys, have a backbone. Follow what you feel is right. Support the people that you feel you need to support. Don't support the people that you don't want to support. But my gosh, we all left that stuff in high school, you would think. But stop being a herd. Stand out. Have your own opinions. Don't think that because so-and-so doesn't like so-and-so or so-and-so has beef with so-and-so, all of a sudden you can't support or like that person. Grow up. We can all exist in the same places. We can. Do I like everybody? No, I'm not going to even pretend that I do. Not even going to pretend that I do. But you're not going to know, because that's not going to make me look good. And I can learn from anybody. I don't have to like them to learn from them. Every personality isn't going to fit. Every personality isn't going to fit. It drives me crazy. When somebody makes others feel a certain way about somebody. Understand that if somebody feels that strongly about somebody, it's because something happened. Something happened. And it doesn't have to be published. But at the same time, why are you part of a herd? These are people's businesses. Would you like somebody coming after your business just because you guys don't get along? Fake friends, frenemies, whatever you want to call it. I'm not for that. I'm not about that. And I'm not going to pretend to be. If you don't like me, guess what? I'm okay with that. I'm a grown up. It's okay that you don't like me. I'm a lot. Oh gosh, I'm a lot. And I get that. But I'm a lot in a good way. I want to see people win. I want to see people explode in their giftedness. I want to see people doing and building the dreams that they're building. That's what I want for everybody, because I want that for myself. So why wouldn't I want it for you? But I also know that a lot of that negative speak, a lot of that negative talk can make you feel some kind of way about people. I've learned that when people say that they want somebody to tell them the truth, they think they want that. They think that's the right thing to want. But they don't, because the truth hurts. The truth sucks a lot of times. But you grow in that. You grow in looking at yourself. You grow in having a mirror in front of you that shows you your flaws and where you can change and grow in those areas. That builds confidence too. When somebody cares enough about you to say, hey, I see you and I see this, and I know what you're going for, and this isn't it. So let me help you. Let me help you. Let me guide you. Let me show you. Because it's a lot easier for us to see where others are struggling than it is for us to see our own areas of improvement. That's a good way of putting it. But if you can have a community that's all about building each other up and helping each other out, and everybody uses their giftedness to grow together, do you have any idea how powerful that is? Do you have any idea how amazing that is? I know where I'm gifted. I'm gifted in researching. I'm gifted in brainstorming. I'm gifted in just back and forth ideas, just sharing of ideas and figuring things out together. But I know that very few people are going to celebrate that. It sounds like I know more, or I think I'm better than them, which is the furthest from the truth. I'm just like everybody else. I'm just trying to figure it out and work it all out. I don't think I'm better than anybody. And I'm not going to ever think that or say it. And it's not true about me. So when somebody says to me, you think that you're better than others? No, I don't. No, I don't. I just know that I don't like that feeling of stuckness, of feeling stuck, or of trying something that somebody else told me to do that isn't working for me. It worked for them, but that doesn't mean it works for me. So I'm going to try something different. I'm going to look for things that I can do that are different. That doesn't make me better than anybody. That just means that I don't stay stuck. I don't stay stuck. I don't dwell. I figure it out. Like I'm a figure outer. I'm going to figure it out. I don't want to stay stuck. I don't want to not grow. Okay. So it worked for so-and-so. Didn't work for me. So am I supposed to not move or not do something different? I had to learn patience last year. Oh my gosh. Last year, my word that I picked for the year was patience. I found out how impatient I was. I found out how incredibly impatient I was. But I did learn how to be patient in certain areas, how to slow down, how to not rush, pause, take a breath, take a step, sidestep, if you will, to try to figure out the things that are going to work for me. And I don't know that I would have learned as much had I not learned patience. But patience is also hard. Waiting for something that you implement to gain traction, that's hard. So again, showing up for yourself to build the confidence, to not let imposter syndrome steal that from you, to take that away from you because you weren't patient. All of these things, nothing happens overnight. A house does not go from foundation to built overnight. It doesn't happen. So don't expect that to happen in your business, in your relationships, in whatever it is that you're building. Don't expect that, because then you won't be disappointed. Then you won't be disappointed. All right. There are two types of people. There are the givers, and then there are the takers. And we all know who we are, right? In every relationship, there's a giver, there's a taker, there's a taker, there's a giver, there's a giver, taker. Anyway, I say that to say that because of that, you have to be aware. So the givers encourage, celebrate, and uplift. Okay? They're going to show up for you. If you're going to hit that live button and they know and they have time, they're going to go into your live. They're going to tap on that screen. They're going to do all the things that need to happen in order to make that live successful for you. Okay? Givers. The takers, they drain, they criticize, and they compete. And competition typically isn't even an outward thing. Sometimes they compete by gaslighting you, by tearing you down, where they're tearing you down in a way that only you know they're tearing you down, and it's oblivious to everybody else. I'm telling you, there's things that people do that aren't as obvious to everybody else. But those are the takers, and they drain the crap out of you. I had somebody tell me, yeah, I don't go into your lives because I already know what you do and I don't learn from you. So I'm going to go watch somebody else. Okay. Perfectly fine. You didn't have to tell me that. You didn't have to say that to me. Just do it. You don't have to tell me what you're doing. Just do it. It's okay. It's not like it's obvious. I know that you're not here supporting me. Like, you don't have to tell me that. So those type of things can drain you. They can nip at your confidence. You know, they can nip at your confidence. So that's why building your confidence is so important, because then that can just, like I have a friend that says this, like water on a duck's back. Just let it wash off, like what? Because water on a duck's back just goes right off of them. So you need to let that thing, just things that people say, just roll right off of you. Trust is built over time. You don't have to just blindly give your trust to somebody because they tell you to trust them. You don't even have to give them trust because you've watched them and you think they're trustworthy, so you're just going to trust them. Listen less and watch more. Listen less and watch more. People have good verbiage. They've got great words. They can be cheering you on this side and secretly wanting your demise on this side. They'll use you for your giftedness. They will use you from what they can gain from you and then drop you when they're done with you and call you the cause of drama. I know it because it happened to me. Okay? Listen less and watch more. Watch how they show up, how they act, how they react to you. That matters. That matters. Watch how they treat others. Watch how they treat others. They'll make people feel crazy. Hey, I can't see you on certain platforms. Like, I can't even message you. You're invisible to me. Well, friend, that person blocked you. That person blocked you. That's why you can't see them. They blocked you. And they'll act like, I don't know why you can't see me. I haven't done anything. They lie right to your face. They lie right to your face. Trust that. Trust that. Trust it, okay? Watch how they react to success. Are they really celebrating? Are they really jumping up for joy that you are doing the thing that you are successful in whatever it is, are they really doing that? And watch how they react to your failure. If they show up more for when you're struggling than when you're winning, watch it. Watch it. If somebody is showing up for you out of concern because you're struggling, but they don't show up for when you're succeeding, they're getting something, they feel something out of your failure. And they'll show up as concern. No, this is not either or and but. Pay attention. People will tell you exactly how they feel about you. I was told by somebody that I always want to one-up them. Not one time, not even a little bit, have I ever wanted to one-up anybody. Because that's not the game I play. I don't play that game. I don't play in that playground. One-up somebody, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem, because that's not what I do. Not what I do. The way that I function when I want to show up for this community, and I'm a natural teacher, and I also had to learn off of these platforms, okay? I like seeing an over-the-shoulder view, as if the table is right in front of me. That's how I learn. So I want to show up in that way when I'm teaching, because I want you to learn. I'm just saying, that's not one-upping somebody. You do you. You show up what's comfortable for you. I'm not saying that you need to show up the same way. I'm just saying that this is how I learn, so that's how I want to show up. That's a you problem, not a me problem. And you have to realize that a lot. When somebody has a problem with you, it's typically not with you that they have a problem. It's with themselves. There's something that they're battling within themselves, and it's not a you problem. So don't take that stuff. Don't take that stuff. Don't own that stuff. Just let it go. If I can't show up in your life because you feel some kind of way, I'm not going to be there anymore. I don't want you to feel some kind of way because I'm there. I'll leave. I'm good. I'm a grown person. That's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm going to remove myself. I'm going to remove myself. All right. Trust. Let's talk about trust. Oh, they just seem to take it out on you instead of dealing with them. So it's a condition, Christy. It's a condition. And that's okay. Again, a lot of that stuff you don't need to pick up. Leave that baggage where it belongs. Somebody calls it baggage. Everybody walks around with baggage. And a lot of people just want to hand you their baggage. It's up to you whether you pick it up or not. I'm not picking up your baggage. I got my own to carry. I don't need anybody else's stuff. So I'm not going to pick it up. I'm going to leave it right where it is, because that's healthy. So let's talk about trust, okay? Trust grows slowly, okay? It's consistency, honesty, reliability, okay? When you're watching somebody from a screen, there's that separation, right? It's the screen. So a lot of people feel like they're keyboard warriors, like they can say whatever they want to say because they're keyboards. But if you pay attention, you've learned that a lot of people have learned how to take that keyboard warriorness when you require a relationship to be built face to face. They take that keyboard warriorness and start to be ugly in other ways. It's not always apparent. It's not always in your face. But they start to do that and nip away at your confidence, because your confidence makes their non-confidence feel some kind of way. Be intentional about who you have relationships with. If people truly want the best for you, they're going to tell you the hard stuff. They're going to tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear. But a lot of people don't want that for themselves because the truth is hard. It's hard to hear the truth. But how do you grow otherwise? If you have a bunch of people yesing you to death or telling you a design is beautiful, when you see them tell everybody that their design is beautiful and you know full well, it's like, do you have eyes in your head? But no, let me come over here and talk behind your back. Oh, don't tell me that I'm fibbing, because I've seen it. I just don't partake in it. There's a difference. I'm like, you need to take that stuff somewhere else because I'm not participating in it. If somebody's asking you for an honest opinion and you choose not to tell them, that's on you. That's on you. That's on you. I always ask people, where are you getting your skills from? How long have you been working on this? What do you think it should look like? What do you think it should look like? What were you trying to achieve? Have you learned the skills to achieve that? Because learning those skills take time, especially with mesh, my friends. Working with mesh is origami, no matter how you look at it. Working with mesh is origami, and it's not for everybody. Working with florals, it's hard in a different way. It's hard in a different way. Pairing florals. What's going to make something stand out? What are the skills that you need to learn in order to place things in a way that they look right? You've heard people say, where's your eye being drawn? What the heck does that mean? I mean, a lot of times you're just like, what? Drawing my eye? What does that mean? But I've taken the time, been intentional in building my skills, and I now know what that means. Because everybody wasn't born knowing how to design anything, period. I don't care who you are. You learned from something or somewhere, okay? You learned something from someone or somewhere, okay? But that trust thing, guys, that's built over time. First timer here, and no lies told. I'm terrible with florals. Well, friend, stop telling yourself you're terrible and just tell yourself that you're learning. Just tell yourself you're learning. If it's something that you want to learn. My daughter is getting married this year, and she's trusting me with her bouquet, her centerpieces, and her arch. These are skills that she knows her mama still needs to learn. And you know what my child said to me? Mom, if I want you to do it, I know you will learn. And I know that it'll be good. I know you'll do a good job. That's what having somebody believe in you is like. Right? That's what somebody supporting you is like. That's when somebody sees in you something you don't see in yourself. That's the kind of support everybody needs. That's the kind of support everybody needs. And my friend, is it Bajan Beauty Wreaths? Is that how you say it? Or is it Bajan? I don't want to say it wrong. But just know that if you want to be good in florals, well, I celebrate you in that. I celebrate you in that, and I believe that you can be. And I can tell you that there are so many people out here that have done the work that can teach you how to do that. I'm still learning. And I've invested in myself, so I have teachers that are teaching me how to do the things that I want to do. But investing in yourself is the start. Investing in yourself is where you start. Okay, it's baby steps. It's baby steps to get where you want to be. Okay, so imagine having a goal for yourself, for your business, for the direction that you want to go. How do you get there? Bayjen, got it. Got it, Bayjen. Thank you so much for doing that for me. That helps a lot. It's nice to meet you. I'm Claudia. And this is a segment that I do on Fridays called Real Talk. So I'm so happy that you're here. Not everyone will like you, friends. Not everyone will like you. And for some, that's hard to hear. For me, gosh, that is like the worst thing you can do to yourself, is wanting to be liked by everybody. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And here's the bigger thing with that. Not everybody's going to understand you. They think that you have some kind of an agenda, or there's no way that she can be that way. I hate to tell you, but I'm the same way here as I am in person. I'm the same way here as I am in person. I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy, the time. I can't do that with you. I can't do that with you. I'm not perfect. I'm very imperfect. But I love deeply, and I can see potential in every single person that is putting themselves out there to learn something, to do something that's going to be so meaningful for them and for their future. I want to retire doing this. I want to retire having my wreath business. I want to retire bringing smiles to people's homes and their doors, to welcome people into their lives. Because think about it. Your front door says so much to the world before they even come and knock. So why wouldn't I want to be part of that for people? Because for me, it was so therapeutic in the time that I found wreath making. When I made my first wreath and I started putting wreaths on my door, it was therapeutic for me because I felt so unloved, unseen, unworthy. I felt like I had to perform in ways that wasn't natural to me. I put up a boundary with my family and lost connection with them because I didn't want to be told anymore how much I wasn't meeting expectations. That was important to me. So I was like, you know what? I can make my home a sanctuary. I can make my home a sanctuary. I can be safe here. And I'm going to make it pretty. And I'm going to make it pretty. So I would make something pretty for my door and I would post it on social media just to say, hey, look what I did. Look what I did. And other people would say, hey, I want one too. And that's how it all started. That's how I started selling stuff. I saw that you said that your family is from Barbados. That is amazing. That is amazing. I love that you can meet people. You can meet people from all over the world on here. I'm going to cough. Excuse me. You can meet people all over the world on here. There's no limitation, right? There's no limitation. So we're putting ourselves out here. Hi, Kelly. We're putting ourselves out here. Okay. And we're sharing our stories. Your stories matter. Your existence matters. So when you're struggling with confidence and imposter syndrome, friends, what you tell yourself you believe. What you tell yourself you believe. By claiming things like, I'm not good at, I can't do, there's no way, never ever, right? You're believing those things. And you're right. You can't. You're not good at all of these things because you've spoken them. Your words have that kind of power. Oh, Beijen said, hold on. Yes, it's also therapeutic and ministry. I taught high school for 28 years. Well, God bless you. God bless you. High school age was never my age. I taught 2 and 3-year-olds. That was my jam. And still to this day, those 2 and little 3-year-olds gravitate to me. They know who their people are. But high schoolers, I survived high school. I survived the high schoolers. I love them. I think they're magical. I think they have a lot of ideas. But whoa, whoa. Christy says, I love word of mouth can travel and see how things become amazing and build in the end, right? The power of the tongue is life and death. So, friend, flowers are foreign to me. Not because I don't love them, because I think they're beautiful. But at the same time, if I'm not working on my skills, am I ever going to say that I'm good at it? I need to work on those skills. I need to become better at it. But the only way to do that is to invest and learn and put myself in situations where I can get better. That's the only way. It's the only way. Oh, yes, it was God that kept me that long. I hear you, friend. God leads us and guides us in all things. I also have very strong faith, and I believe that everybody was faithfully, wonderfully made, and you are beautiful regardless of the way that you look, because you guys have seen very attractive people open their mouths and they're ugly, right? And again, you've seen people that maybe aren't so attractive open their mouths and beautiful things come from them. Doesn't matter. It's how you show up that matters more so than anything. But authenticity, people can see through your fakeness. If all you're doing is copying what people say, copying what people do, and trying to Frankenstein a personality, people see that. People see that. Oh, I love that, Beijen. I don't know how I came across your live, but this was predestined and I needed to hear this. Yeah, I when I first decided that I was going to do this particular conversation about imposter syndrome and confidence, because I know that I struggle with that. Like I struggle with, like even recently, I was part of an event with a lot of other creatives. And one of the first things that came out of my mouth, mind you, and I hadn't even been thinking about it. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, I'm so grateful to be part of such a wonderful lineup of creatives. They are way out of my league. Not one time had that thought crossed my mind, but that's what I said. Why did I say that? Why did I say that? Here's the thing. It's all part of that imposter syndrome. It shows up when you don't need it to, okay? You are going to meet people at this huge market that you're a part of. You're going to put your name out there. You're going to put yourself in situations. That you're like, wow, how did I get here? Keep that childlike thought. Wow, how did I get here? It's a wow thing, not an I don't belong thing. You belong there. You were placed there. Okay? So believe in that. Believe that you belong there. Christy, I know. I was wondering the same thing. I thought all of you were amazing. I know. Like I said, I don't even know why I said that. And it wasn't like I could take it back. It wasn't like I could take it back. Guys, believing in yourself is work. There are processes and things that you need to do to believe in yourself. But the way that you talk to yourself matters more so than anything else. Okay? You belong. You're creative. You are working on your skills. You are building something. Those are the things that you need to say to yourself. I may not be where I want to be, but I am working on it. I am going to get there. I'm going to continue to build my skills. But that's the thing, Christy. Nothing else was going on in my head. She's like, I know, it seemed out of character for you to say that. It threw me for a loop, wondering what else was going on in your head. You know what it was? It was the fact that I don't go live on that platform, on the FB. I don't go live on that platform, not because of any other reason other than the loneliness, the crickets that go on over there. It messes with my head. It just does, not for any reason, but I feed off of engagement. I do better when other people are engaging with me. So I criticize myself, right? If people aren't engaging with me, how are they really going to get a sense of who I am? Because sometimes I can just rattle off randomly and overshare because nobody's engaging with me. So that's where that came from. Oh, the onions are in your eyes. Honey, I listen, okay? Real talk was something that I started a couple of years ago, okay? And it started by me just coming out into the community saying, you don't know what you don't know. Because people were just showing up and doing things to people that I didn't feel was right or fair. But if you don't know that you're doing something not right, then how are you going to fix it and get better? And a lot of it was just meant to be like a one and done. Like if you didn't see me live, you basically didn't hear it anymore. But I've changed it to where now I am taking this off of this platform and reposting it over on my YouTube channel because it is important. People do need to be reminded of the simple things that I'm saying because you know this, like innately, you know the things that I'm sharing, but sometimes you just need somebody to say it to you again, saying it to you lovingly and authentically and telling you that you can do hard things. You can do hard things because you were made by somebody who sees the best in you even when you don't see the best in yourself. And that is the honest truth. I know a lot of people are grateful that I actually do that I actually now put it out on YouTube. And mind you, it's not about the numbers. It is not about the numbers because if you want to watch it, great. It's over there for you to watch. But I'm not focused on the numbers. Hey, Justin, I'm not focused on the numbers because that matters very little to me. I care about you, the individual that struggles just like I do in this world of being online, right? It's a scary place to be, but it can also be such a therapeutic, good place to be because you can run across people that will share their hearts with you and make you feel, normalize what you're feeling. Normalize what you're feeling. Yeah, Justin was one of the first people that watched my Real Talk a couple of years ago. And he actually said, hey, if you ever have somebody join you for Real Talk, I want to do it. He was the first person that I interviewed on here. And no, you can't rewatch that because when I listened to the people that were watching and they like, please, I didn't get a chance to watch it all. I want to rewatch it. When I got permission from everybody to say, hey, we're actually going to repost them on YouTube, I missed pulling Justin's down by 3 days. I was 3 days too late to pull his interview down. So with all of that being said, I do encourage other creators that are out here doing this to join me if they want to be interviewed, if they want to talk about, you know, what building this business has meant to them, you know, the people that they've met, the journey that they've been on. We need another interview done. I told him, but I don't pressure. So if he's willing to have another conversation with me, I definitely welcome it, but I don't pressure anybody. I definitely want it to be something that they want to do. So I leave it out there. But I do invite anybody that would like to join me for Real Talk to reach out, and we have a conversation prior to doing it. So I'm not asking questions that they haven't heard before or go in a direction that they don't want to go. Like I'm always very protective of those that join me. And again, those are all posted over on YouTube if you want to watch that. All right. Let's talk about the two kinds of criticism, okay? Because this is important. There's constructive criticism, which is always helpful and respectful, okay? Wreath by Charlie. Charlie, send me a message on here. And we will talk. I love that, Charlie. Thank you. Beijen, thank you. She told me that God is well pleased with what I'm doing. I'm trying to be obedient, friend. I'm trying to be obedient. And I say that with all the, I'm prayerful about this. Like, I want everybody to be healthy, mentally, physically, and emotionally healthy on these platforms. And it takes work, and we can do this. Okay. So let's talk about helpful and respectful is constructive. Destructive is personal and negative. We need to focus on being constructive. Constructive helps. Destructive hurts. How people treat you says more about them than it does about you. So how others treat you says more about them than it does about you. I'm going to say this because I believe in this so much. And how people receive it is how they receive it. But for me, when I'm struggling in relationships with others, when watching people makes me feel some kind of way, why am I going to continue to see them on my feeds, on my threads, or anything else? Guys, I exercise the block button, not because it's hateful, not because I feel negative or towards that person or want bad things for them. I block people for me. If it makes me feel some kind of way to see them, there's stuff that I need to work through that isn't healthy for me if I keep seeing that person. Okay? So I exercise what's given, what's provided for me, and I block. Not because it's hateful, because it's healthy. It's a boundary. Okay? And not everybody has to agree with me. It doesn't matter if you agree with me or not. I do what I need to do to be protective of myself because I know I'm valuable. And if I allow the negative talk that can happen when all of a sudden people stop supporting you and are treating you some kind of way and are silent treatment and being all kind of weird, and you've already done what you're supposed to do, you reach out and ask, hey, did I do something? And the walls keep coming up. Be smart. Protect yourself. Love yourself enough to not see that. Don't look at that. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. It matters what you do. And that's not a bad reaction. That's a healthy reaction. Because if you need to work on stuff without having to be reminded constantly of what people did, block them. And if people block me because it makes your life better, please block me. I don't ever want anybody to feel any kind of way. But I'll tell you what, I'm approachable. I am not afraid of confrontation. If we need to work some things out, let's work them out. I'm a grown up. I can work it out. But if you're going to ghost me, if you're going to treat me like crap, if you're going to talk about me, I don't need to see you. I don't need to see that. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. And I'm all about being healthy. I'm all about being healthy. It's all about wellness. Okay. And I'm also not going to air my garbage on these platforms. Nope. I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to clean up the mess and I'm going to see what I can do differently or better for me. That's how I handle that. But that block button is healthy. It's healthy. Don't let other people control you. Don't let other people control you because that's what they do. And what's crazy to me is they do it in a way that other people don't pick up on it. They do it in a way other people don't pick up on it, but you're like, it's like a neon sign. Well, guess what? Those people aren't going to go where I'm going. God does that. God reveals things for you loudly when you need to prune relationships. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to prune things. I mean, what do you have to do for a plant? You have to prune it in order for it to grow healthier. You need to prune it in order for it to grow healthier. I'm pruned, guys. I'm now going, I know, Beijing, I know. Huge Jezebel spirits. I'm telling you. So this is a recent season that I'm coming out of. That's a recent season that I'm coming out of. And let me tell you something. This is what came to me. Real talk needs to come back. Real talk needs to come back. You need to surround yourself with people that see your potential, see you as a equal, that actually do support you and actually do celebrate you. Yes, God reveals to redeem. Yes. Beijing, I hope you followed me because I'm going to follow you right back, friend. I'll follow you right back. But understand this. I don't have any ill will. None. No ill will, no bad feelings, no nothing. You go about your way. You do all the things that you need to do. It's just not going to be with me. I'm just not going to be part of that journey. I've removed myself and I am so much better for it. But I'm also rebuilding. Because I don't feel that what was created, the community that was created, was a bad thing. It's a good thing. So I do have a community. I have a community that's over on Discord. I've changed the name of it. It used to be called the Crafty Crew. Now it's called the... You guys are going to laugh. Let me show you. It's called the Crafted Collab Network. And this will be flipped around the right way. The Crafted Collab Network. Because here is what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be makers coming together to mentor one another. I'm not a coach, nor do I want to be. But I also believe that by being in a community together with like-minded people, building a community, building a business, building the things that we're building, we can so grow and learn with each other because many minds are better than one. And when you can share ideas and you can create something bigger than yourselves because you're sharing ideas, it can be a magical thing. So I'm still going to build this community. I'm still going to show up like I always have in this community. Okay? That's not going to change. Just because people left and decided that they were going somewhere else doesn't change who I am and what God put on my heart to build and create. So I'm going to continue that path. I'm going to continue growing that because it's important to me. It's important to me that we have like-minded people doing the same thing, building great things together. And I will continue to support those that support each other. I will continue to do that. All right, let's get some tools in here because I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Tools to fight imposter syndrome. The win list. You write down your accomplishments, your progress, and your lessons. You write them down. Okay, this is combating imposter syndrome. You limit your comparison. You focus on your path, which direction you're going. What's the next thing that you need to build to get to that next level? Okay? You change your self-talk. You replace I'm not good enough with I'm learning and growing. If there's a skill that you want to build and you don't have it yet, that's just something you have to grow, period. And that's what you need to tell yourself. If you're not good at something, you know how you can build that skill. So build that skill. Healthy community. I cannot say this enough. Surround yourself with people who encourage, celebrate, and support you. That matters so much. People that are willing to grow together. People that are willing to have conversations when things get a little bit wonky. You know, because we don't always understand each other. Because guess what? We're individuals, individual people that don't necessarily think the same, coming together in community. Sometimes things can be miscommunicated, misunderstood. Personalities don't always mesh. That's okay. You can still be in community together. You can learn and grow, and through that, iron sharpens iron. Friction. Friction is what helps you grow and refines you and gets you to that shiny place. So it's good to have people that you don't necessarily agree with all the time, because it does make you see things in a different perspective. It does help you see things in different perspectives, okay? Now, in closing, I want to remind you that you are uniquely created. You are meant to do the things that you are doing, especially when it's hard, especially on the hard days. You are gifted. You have an innate giftedness. You have things that come easy to you. Do not fight those things. Do not fight what comes easy to you. I'm a natural teacher. I naturally teach. I want you to learn what I've figured out or learned. So I'm going to innately just want to teach. I'm going to want to show you how to do whatever it is I've learned. That is who I needed when I started this journey. I needed people to show me. I needed to learn from somebody. So I am so grateful to those that have gone before me. But that is something that I am gifted in as well. So I will also teach, and I'm going to own that. I'm going to own that. Your journey is yours. Your journey is yours. Nobody else's. So nobody can tell you how to do your journey. What you do doesn't have to make sense to anybody else but you. You are the one that's growing and learning and doing in your business. Nobody else is going to do that for you. Okay, so your journey is yours. And that means that there's going to be people that come along on your journey, and they may be there for a short time, and then they're going to fall off. That's okay. Your journey is still going to be your journey. Just hold on to your giftedness. Hold on to what you're good at. You will grow in that, okay? Hear me when I say this. Stop trying to fit in when you were made to stand out. You were made to stand out. Do not compare yourself. Do not look around at anybody else. You're not going to be like them. You're not supposed to be. So stop trying to fit in when you were made to stand out. Stop apologizing for yourself. Stop being sorry. You are absolutely beautifully and wonderfully made, and there's nothing to be sorry about. Show up as your authentic self, and the right people will surround you. And that matters more than anything else, okay? My final question before I get off of here, which I'm already 2 minutes over. What is one thing you are going to start believing about yourself today? Again, we are fighting imposter syndrome, and we are building confidence, because that is what's going to squash imposter syndrome over anything else, because you belong. Okay? You belong, and you're working to something bigger, bigger and better that you're building. That's my word this year, Charlie. My word this year is build. So everything I do will have that word in it. because we are building. You are building, and you're building something amazing. And it might not even look like what you thought it was going to look like. Okay, so I celebrate you, I support you, and if you ever want to join me again for Real Talk and be interviewed, send me a message. Send me a message. I am on all the platforms. So if you send me a message, I will see it. And until next time, guys, have a wonderful weekend and do something good for yourself. Believe in yourself, and I'll see you next time.